Hello, this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me today. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator working in the UK. And today our project is these simple little Christmas trees, which I intended originally to be Christmas cards, but I didn't realise quite how diddy they were going to work out. So I guess you could make bigger versions. But these, I think, what I'm going to use them for, I'm going to make a whole load of these, and I'm not going to decorate this white panel. And what I'm going to do is write people's name on it so that for Christmas lunch we can all have our own little place card. Although actually, for me, it'll only be me and my husband, so there'll only be two of them. But I'm going to make them for my sister and my brother's families as well. They've got slightly more people being with them for Christmas. We've got restrictions over Christmas here because of COVID, so we can't have great big family gatherings. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to make them. Very, very simple, using the biggest triangle die from the stitched triangles. And I meant to look up before I came on here what name. I think this is an isosceles triangle. Somebody will tell me. It's not an equilateral triangle because it's not all the same all the way around. I don't think it's scalene, and it's not right angled, so I think that makes it an isosceles triangle. So anyway, we're using that die. It's the biggest one from the set. And what I did was made a little, this is the back of the card. This is a little hinged part. To make that, I took a piece of folded Whisper White. I did do it in the thick Whisper White just because I want it to stand up quite sturdily. And where the fold is, I placed the die about there and then put it through the die cutting machine. It can be quite a struggle to get it through because it's two pieces of card thick, so it's just a little bit more tricky to go through, and you might need to do it 2 or 3 times to get it cut through the 2 sheets of card, but it will do it. As you can see, it's done it here, and then you end up with your little hinged piece, which is going to be the back. So this is on the back of our card to help them stand up like that. But for the front, what I did, now you could just cut out a single stitch triangle. What I did, I wanted it to be slightly bigger than the background. So what I did was I placed this, so I'm going to place this about 2 centimeters or a 1/16 of an inch above the bottom of that card, and then I'm going to just pencil round the die, and this will make it just slightly bigger than the background. And then I'm just going to cut out, and I'm going to bring in my big scissors to do this, just because it's easier to get a straight line. Now, actually, I could show you. You can do this with your cutter, if you can find your cutter. There it is. So, all you need to do is to line up the line that you want to cut along this cutting ridge. So this is the cutting ridge of your trim, and that's where it's going to cut. So you just need to line it up, and if you put this down, you can see whether it is centered in there. So my line is now going right through the middle of that thing, so I can take out my scoring blade and just cut up there, and that will make it nice and straight. Like I say, you could use the dies if you don't want to faff around doing this. I just wanted mine to be slightly bigger, so I'm prepared to do this. And so then again, I'm going to line up this line through that channel, so I can see my pencil line is all the way through that channel, and then cut, and that gives me a perfect triangle to use for my card. So I'm just going to use my bone fold if I can get hold of it, just to press those edges down, because you get a bit of a lip when you use our trimmer. There we go, that's perfect. And you can just see my pencil line just very slowly, slightly there. And in fact, I'm going to put it on that side so that we'll cover that up. So I have got 5 pieces of cardstock here that I have cut with the border from one of the borders from the Ornate Borders stamp set. I'm just realising I haven't used this die set nearly as much as I should have done, and I'm going to make my New Year's resolution to use this set. But this is the border that I've used. Really, really pretty. And what I've done is I've cut out 5 strips, one in Old Olive, 1 in garden green, 1 in shaded spruce, and 2 in whisper white, and they get gradually smaller. Now you need to make sure your strips are wide enough. They need to be 2.5 strips wide, and then across, this one is 7.5. The next white one, because they're going to alternate, is 7. The garden green is 6.5. The next white one I think is 5, and I think this one is 4. So they go down in sizes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, although you can change the colours around if you want to, but that will just make sure that it fits on the card without leaving any spare edges. So I'm going to take some Tombow, and I'm going to glue my old olive piece of cardstock at the base there. Actually, I'm just going to get a piece of scrap paper because this is gluey and I don't want it to stick to my grid paper. So I've got a couple of other videos to video today. I want to keep my grid paper nice and pristine. So now I'm going to glue it not quite at the bottom of that white triangle. Bring it up to camera to show you. Can you see? Oh, it's moved. That's the joy of Tombow. It might move a little bit. Push it back into place. There we go. So it's not quite at the bottom. Just left a little gap there. And then I'm going to take the longest whisper white one. Actually, what I'm going to do is trim first of all. If you do this, you will be able to make sure that your strips are reaching to the edge, because it's very easy, it's very deceptive, and you might end up having a few gaps. So there we go. So that's going to go there. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Use my Tombow. These are quite sweet. I think they'll make lovely table settings. I'm going to write names in them, like I said. They were going to be Christmas cards, but actually I think they're a bit too tiny for Christmas cards, especially if you were sending them. I think they'd need either put them in a much bigger envelope, which would look a bit daft. If you put them in that tiny envelope, I'd be frightened they were going to go astray in the post somewhere. Right, so we've got 2 layers now. I'm going to put the garden green one on now. It is a bit messy because you get glue at the edges as well. So just try and keep your fingers clean as you do it. So that's going there, like so. You can use all sorts of colours here. You don't have to use the colours that I've used. You can use different greens, or you could do it in whatever colour your Christmas scheme is going to be, red and white or whatever. And then white is the next one. So white's going to go there. The border just makes it just that little bit more special, I think. I quite like that little border. I saw somebody doing a very similar thing to this, but they'd used the curvy. There's a new die coming out in the mini that's available at the minute, and it's a dotty curvy die, and that was what gave me the idea for this card, but I don't have those dies, so I had to improvise and innovate and use what I had. And I'm actually, now I think I prefer using this die. I think it's quite nice. And then lastly, shaded spruce. Now don't worry if your shaded spruce doesn't come quite up to the top, because we're going to put a star on there, so it won't matter at all. So just put that on there. And there we go. And there we're done. Okay, so what we're now going to do is we're going to layer that onto our base, and because it's slightly bigger, that will work. So it's just, you can see it's just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to put the glue on here, so that I know exactly where the glue needs to go. And then that is going to go on there. like so. And then to finish off, I have taken one of the stars from the Stitch Stars set. Get loads of stars in this set. This is such good value for money, this set. I just want to show you. So I've taken that one out from there. That's the one we're going to be using. But look at all those dies. These layer on top of these to make the points a bit more decorative. Little swirl and this starry swirl. Really good value for money, this set. This is another one that will stay in my collection forever. It's in the annual catalogue if you're looking for it. Okay, and I've taken this die which stitches on both sides, and so what I have done is I die cut it so it was like that. I'm just using you to use the inner, but you also get this lovely outer, this negative with stitching around it as well. All the stitched stars do that. Okay, and so that is going to go on the top of my tree. So just a bit of Tombow on the top there. Like so. There we go. Okay, and now my little tree will stand up like so. And then all I'm going to do, now on one of them I decorated it with little gold stars, which are quite sweet. It was cut with another die from the Stitch Stars, this little tiny one, and it took forever. And it wasted quite a lot of card because it stitched on the outside as well. And the gold foil paper is not the cheapest paper in the catalogue. So in the end, I decided I couldn't be bothered. Life was too short to cut out all those stars. So what I did on the next one, this one that I made, was I just used our red rhinestones, which I think looks quite nice. So let's find some tweezers. But what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to put one up there actually. I'm not going to put any on that middle, this white panel, because I might well use this as a place setting. I need to make a couple more, but I might use it as a place setting, and so I will write somebody's name there. And that's really quick to do then, much quicker than the stars. And so now we've got a space there. My star is bending because it's still got wet glue on it. Once it's dried, I can straighten that out. There we go. So that's quite sweet, don't you think? Quite a nice, I think it'd make lovely table settings. Someone said you could make tags with them, which I think would also be a really lovely idea. And you could mount this on a card if you wanted to. If you wanted to make a card, you could. Where's my card blank gone? I had one. Oh, here it is. So you could mount it on a card blank if you wanted to use it. Doesn't have to be white. You could use a different colour. Do a gold border. That would look quite nice as well. So I hope you like that little project today. If you'd like to buy any of the products that I've used, they're all available in my online shop, so you can go down below and purchase those. They're mostly annual catalogue items. So the stitched triangles, the stitched stars, the ornate borders, the red rhinestones, all from the annual catalogue, the gold foil, the card, all from the annual catalogue. So nothing from the Christmas catalogue in this little project. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. Do pop and have a look in my blog as well. You can sign up for my newsletter. If you want to, you can subscribe to see all of my videos. So you can just click the subscribe button down below and click on the bell and you'll get a notification whenever I post. But that's it from me today. Oh, just one more thing. If you are ordering online, please remember to use my code. Sorry, I keep meaning to type this out so it's nice and neat, but it's a bit rough and ready at the minute. RM4HQUEF is my monthly shopping code. If you use that when you shop with me online, I will send you a free product gift next month, so that will be something to look forward to. That's it from me today. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.